What's up everyone, Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Today we're going to be checking out some NHL trade rumors from Specters Hockey for February 1st. We're here in a new month, new trade rumors. We're leaning up to the NHL trade deadline on the 25th of February now. You know, everybody is excited about this. Of course, trades are fun, rumors are fun, and we're going to get into some more today. I like to cover this quite a lot on this channel, and you guys know that. So there'll be lots of content geared towards the trade rumors as we lead up to the 25th. Now, as you guys can see, I'm not in the usual location that I record in. Now, there's been some videos off and on lately that have been recorded here in my room. The reason I do that is because on days that I'm like seriously busy and I have a lot to do, I have to film here because setting up downstairs takes a lot, and you guys can't see it because it's kind of out of the frame. But I have my tripod upstairs because I have a second channel that I have my other camera attached to, so everything's kind of all over the place. I'm working on buying more equipment so that way stuff can stay downstairs, some can stay upstairs, so that way I don't have to record here anymore for my NHL videos. So if you're new, don't worry, I have a background with jerseys and everything like that, so please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get to 5,000. Now, on to the trade rumors that I have on my computer in front of me. We're going to talk about the fact that Bob McKenzie is stating that it's going to be a buyer's market. Now, I know a lot of people, when it comes to trade rumors, kind of just see the surface and they don't really, look into the terminology. So basically, a buyer's market means it's pretty self-explanatory. Teams that are looking to add and to buy players to bring them onto their team, they are going to have a wide selection. But that doesn't mean the price is going to be, what they want it to be. Prices are probably going to be high because there are a lot of big names so far that we're hearing. And again, this is being recorded on February 1st. So if something happens before, the trade deadline and, teams start to win and they take their players off the market, I can't predict the future. But what Bob McKenzie is basically saying is there's no real update on the Ottawa Senators whether or not that the Duchesne and Stone contracts are going to be something that's discussed before the deadline. So there could be a possibility of both of them being on the market. We also know about Artemi Panarin, Sergei Bobrovsky potentially. We know Michael Furland and Wayne Simmons. So there's a lot of big names there. Derek Brassard might be there as well, but Pittsburgh's probably just removing him to add on another player. We know that they picked up Brassard last year in those, that weird trade. But basically, just to throw some predictions out there, I do think one of Duchesne or Stone is going to be traded. I also do believe that Simmons and Furlan will both be moved. I hope so. I mean, this would be a fun trade deadline, especially if it actually happens on trade deadline day, because I streamed on, I think it was last year, with Post to Post, and we were there, streaming for like 7 hours, and basically nothing happened. We were talking about the same trade for a couple hours. But just to add to that, Darren Dreger believes the Winnipeg Jets could be one of the clubs with interest in Duchesne or Stone, should they actually make it onto the market. Basically, their GM, Kevin Cheveldayoff, is looking at any top 6 players to add into Winnipeg's team, because we do know that Winnipeg is a powerhouse, and whoever they add will definitely help them towards their quest to the Stanley Cup. We can move on to Panarin as well, because we have been updating him here on Andrew Piluk Hockey with the trade rumors. Basically, Pierre LeBrun is saying that several playoff contenders have contacted the Columbus Blue Jackets regarding Artemi Panarin and basically seeing if he's available. The Florida Panthers aren't among them, but LeBrun believes GM Dale Talon would be interested in pursuing him in free agency this year, along with Sergei Bobrovsky. So that would mean the Florida Panthers would have to shed some salary. I'm not sure if the Reimer contract or Luongo contracts are coming up at any point, but they would have to shed some salary for sure, because I don't think that they want to, hold on to that many goaltenders, especially if they did end up getting Bobrovsky. So, this is something that's added on from The Athletic, is Aaron Portzline, sorry if I mispronounced your name, reports that the Blue Jackets GM Jarmo Kekalainen won't be simply a seller if he decides to trade Panarin or Bobrovsky. He'll still want to add to soften the blow of their departures and keep them in playoff contention. So basically, if they do remove Panarin and Bobrovsky, they have Korpisalo, who will probably take over their starting goaltending duties. And a lot of Columbus fans, as soon as last night I seen, were basically talking about the fact that they wouldn't be mad if Korpisalo was starting because they don't think Bobrovsky's doing all that hot. Again, I believe he does have a no trade or a no move, something around there, so they would have to ask him to waive it. But Panarin and Bobrovsky could bring back pieces for, obviously, for your roster right now and in the future, and then Columbus would still be able to add with additional pieces. So they're basically saying that it could happen where they're still in playoff contention and they're still selling off Bobrovsky and Panarin to ensure that they don't just leave for nothing, because it's basically been reported that if they do end up in free agency, both Panarin and Bobrovsky are going to be gone. I don't think that they're going to be staying. Portsline suggests the Boston Bruins, New York Islanders, San Jose Sharks, Tampa Bay Lightning, and maybe the Vegas Golden Knights or Florida Panthers are possible destinations for Panarin. That's quite a lot of teams. I don't know if Tampa would really want to do that. Boston would definitely be interesting. The Islanders as well. We've talked about that before. Actually, no, I'll get to it at the end. The Sharks, Panthers, Avalanche, Canucks, Flyers might be options for Bobrovsky. I don't think the Canucks will be there. If this is free agency, maybe. But Philly, I don't know about that. I think that Carter Hart probably is their starter next season. If they want to give him more time as a backup, I don't know. The Avalanche, I could see. The Sharks, I could also see. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with those guys. But that's basically the Panarin and Bobrovsky update for now. Pierre LeBrun, again, talking about Chicago, basically talked about Duncan Keith, maybe seeing if they approach him towards the trade deadline, what they're going to do. Duncan Keith has 4 years left on his contract at $5.5 million as the AAV, the average annual value, plus a full no-trade clause. So he would definitely have to say, okay, I want to leave Chicago, or at least I'll waive it if you feel like you want to move me. They basically are saying, too, Scott Powers from The Athletic is saying that he doesn't believe the Blackhawks will be huge players at the trade deadline. They might get rid of some of their unrestricted free agents. They're willing to move John Hayden, and they might be able to move Chris Kunitz as well as Marcus Kruger. So those are basically the things based off of the Chicago Blackhawks for now. And we're not really sure if Duncan Keith could be on that market, but I think he's too expensive. I'm going to talk about Marner and the offer sheets in another video because I've done that before, but I want to just keep that as its own topic. The last thing here is going to be talking about Simmons. I think that's the last thing. Simmons and Michael Furlan. So these are like the power forwards of the market that I discussed at the beginning of the video. They're basically talking about the fact that teams might be willing to pry them off their hands. Obviously off of Philly and Carolina. So appearing on Montreal's TSN 690, Darren Dreger said he thinks that Tampa Bay has inquired about Wayne Simmons and Michael Furlan from their respective teams. They might also have interest in a depth defenseman. He wondered if the Lightning are willing to part with anybody off their roster, as the Hurricanes could be trying to bring back scoring for Furlan. We do know that Carolina has been in the hunt for a forward. Elliot Friedman believes the Lightning have sought a right-shot defenseman for some time, and he thinks that they might be linked to Cody Ceci. Now, we heard the rumors that Cody Ceci might fetch more than what people expect, but I honestly don't believe that. I don't think Cody Ceci is going to even get the Muzzin return, which was two pretty decent prospects and a first-round pick from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, LA got that. I just don't believe that it makes sense for that. And if I just add one more thing, Simmons and Furlan are going to fetch quite a lot, if I'm being honest. I think that power forwards going into the playoffs, especially if you're a team that doesn't have much of that, that's going to be a price that you're going to have to pay. The last thing here, I guess I'll just mention really quick. Jason Mackey lists the Hurricanes, Michael Furlan, the New York Rangers, Kevin Hayes, Winnipeg's Adam Lowry, New Jersey's Brian Boyle, and Minnesota's Charlie Coyle as possible trade deadline targets for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they might be adding any one of those guys or multiple, depending on if they can shed salary. And I guess I can add in this too. Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman believes the Calgary Flames and Edmonton Oilers are looking at New York Rangers winger Matt Zuccarello, which is actually pretty significant. And the Oilers apparently have had talks with Cam Talbot, who has a $4 million AAV right now, about basically saying they could sign him to an extension, but it probably won't be as much money. They're going to have to get rid of some salary, as they're going to have to be activating Sekera and Talbot's probably going to be a guy that's used to clear cap space. So going back to Zuccarello, I think the Flames probably have the better shot because the Oilers probably don't want to be giving up their future, like Bob Nicholson said when they had that press conference. So we'll have to see what happens, but those are a bunch of trade rumors that I will be updating as the days go on. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers. And something I wanted to mention is I have a new podcast called the Andrew Piluk Hockey Podcast that is currently on Podbean. I'm working on getting it on like iTunes and other networks. So be on the lookout for me adding it to other networks and such because I'm really excited about it and people were requesting it. So I'll try to put the link down below. I'm going to try to remember. And this won't be the, routine. This won't be where my videos are. My videos should be downstairs where I have all my stuff. So don't worry, it won't stick like this. It's because I'm really busy. This video went a little longer than I expected. But I'll see you guys in the next video stream. Make sure to click that notification bell. Peace.